Dumban. Hats up, everyone. We're locking in our NFL DFS picks for today's Seahawks-Patriots slate, and we're going to explain exactly why these plays make sense for both cash and GPP builds. Let's start at quarterback. We like Sam Darnold at 16,200 with a dash rank of 100 and a projection of 18 against New England, who have a tough defense overall. He's averaged 15 fantasy points per game, but the recent spike to 32 games ago is a reminder of ceiling with this system, and the projected ownership sitting near 0% gives you massive leverage. The reason we're comfortable attacking a tough matchup is role and context. The recent reporting around his resurgence and Super Bowl run with Seattle, including the Vikings' rejection storyline and subsequent title run, referenced by Essentially Sports, supports why Seattle continues to lean into his efficiency and decision-making. If you want a tournament stack, pairing him with Jackson Smith-Njigba or Rashid Shaheed gives you correlated upside without eating ownership. We also like Drake May at 16,500 with a dash rank of 99 and a projection of 21 against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. He's been steady at 22 fantasy points per game and has posted 16, 17, and 19 in his last three, which makes this projection reasonable. With ownership also near zero, you're getting a discounted floor-ceiling combo if New England leans pass-heavy. The recent reporting that the Patriots are looking to get May more help at receiver reinforces a philosophy that can translate to volume, and volume is what beats tough defenses in DFS. At running back, Kenneth Walker III at 14,700 carries a dash rank of 82 and a projection of 16 versus New England, who have a tough defense overall. He's at 12 fantasy points per game, but has popped for 21 and 39 in two of his last three. That volatility is precisely why we want him in tournaments, especially at near 0% ownership. The news cycle around his Super Bowl MVP and the free agency buzz reported by outlets like ESPN and NFL.com underscores the team's willingness to feature him in high-leverage spots. In a game where long drives might stall against a stout defense, his touchdown equity remains elite. We'll bring it back with Ramondre Stevenson at 13,200, dash rank 82, projected 16 against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. He's averaged 13 fantasy points per game, with a recent trend of 7, 12, and 16. The why here is role resilience. In tough, lower-scoring environments, backs who can contribute in both phases sustain opportunity, and Stevenson fits that profile. Ownership at essentially zero gives you a clean pivot off lineups that overstack Seattle. Draft notes and continued team investment, as covered by local and national outlets, keep his touch shares secure, even in a difficult spot. At wide receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba is our top play at 11,100 in the flex, with a perfect 100 dash rank and a 27-point projection against New England, who have a tough defense overall. He's averaging 23 fantasy points per game, with 34 two games ago, and ownership projected near 0% is wild given this ceiling. The why is straightforward. He's the alpha in this offense, and has the most direct path to spiked weeks via target concentration and red zone work. The recent headlines that he believes he's earned a record-setting contract, and the post-Super Bowl coverage positioning him as Seattle's star, signal the team's trust and usage trajectory. When a player with that kind of role and motivation gets priced here with low ownership, we pounce. For salary relief and correlation, Rashid Shaheed at 6,300 has a dash rank of 92 and a 10-point projection against New England, who have a tough defense overall. He's at 9 fantasy points per game, with 6 and 9 in two of his last three. We like him because of how he scores fantasy points. He's a downfield and special teams threat, which compresses the path to a tournament-winning score into just a few touches. The Essentially Sports feature, listing him among the unsung heroes of a conference contender, tracks with what we want in GPPs. Low-owned volatility paired with our Darnold stacks. For a bringback, Mac Hollins at 5,400, dash rank 73, has an 8-point projection versus Seattle, who have a tough defense overall, and an 8 fantasy points per game average with a 14-point outing 2 games ago. New England's recent note about paying his incentive despite falling a few receptions short shows internal trust and usage stability. If May pushes 35-plus attempts, Hollins is a salary-friendly path to correlation in game stacks. Tight end starts with Hunter Henry at 10,500, dash rank 93, projected 10 against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. He's at 11 fantasy points per game with a recent 15, and ownership at 0% makes him a leverage piece off Patriots receivers. The Sportsline projection model, highlighting him among top Week 1 tight end prop targets earlier in the season, fits how we see this spot. In tight, defensive games, Henry's red zone prowess becomes a key ceiling unlock for May stacks. We also like A.J. Barner at 7,200 with a dash rank of 90 and an 8-point projection against New England, who have a tough defense overall. He's averaging 9 fantasy points per game and comes with the same near-zero ownership. The coaching transition note about Clint Kubiak heading to the Raiders was a headline, but Seattle's structure has continued to generate tight end opportunities. As a low-cost attachment to Darnold stacks, Barner opens salary to Jam and JSN while maintaining correlation. At kicker, Jason Myers at 8,100 projects for 11 against New England, who have a tough defense overall, and he's coming off 7, 11, and 8. The why is simple math. Tough defenses compress touchdowns into field goals, and Myers has already shown historic volume, with 5 field goals in the Super Bowl, as multiple outlets noted while debating his MVP case. If the Seahawks move the ball, but stall in the red zone, Myers has double-digit points in his median range. On the other side, Andy Borregales at 7,500 projects for 9 against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall, with recent games of 4, 4, and 10. He's been steady since day one, and the reporting on his immediate impact and 126-point rookie campaign backs the consistency angle. If you're on a Patriots bringback without committing to May stacks, Borregales gives you cost-effective exposure to points from stalled drives. Defense-wise, the Patriots at 6,000 project for 6 with recent outputs of 12, 7, and 5. We like them as a contrarian anchor in lineups that fade the Seattle passing game. Mike Vrabel's defense has been opportunistic, and if this turns into a field position contest, sacks and short field turnovers can swing a showdown slate. With ownership sitting near 0, you get asymmetric payoff on a unit that's been trending positively in fantasy production. For a deep value dart, if your platform supports a team flex slot, the Seahawks team at 4,400 projects for 5 against an opponent with a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. This is a pure salary release play to unlock a Darnold and JSN core while keeping some correlated exposure. It's not necessary in balanced builds, but it does its job in stars and scrubs constructions. To wrap it up, our core stack is Sam Darnold to Jackson Smith and Jigba, with Jason Myers, and we'll rotate Rashid Shaheed for salary flexibility. On the bringback, we'll mix Drake May's single stacks with Hunter Henry or Mac Hollins, and we'll sprinkle Patriots defense in lineups that bet on a slog. The news backs our thesis. Darnold's resurgence and JSN's contract-driven alpha narrative point to concentrated Seahawks production, while New England's focus on supporting May gives us a clean path to volume in a tough but attackable DFS environment. Ownership near 0% across this slate makes these plays even more attractive for tournaments.